Hi there guys, and welcome back to another video. For those who don't know, my name is Lewis. I'm in the area of Chesterfield, Derbyshire. I own a company called LAS Autobahn Motors. So what do? Well, we specialise in selling used vehicles, usually up to about £5,000 to £7,000 at the max, and anything as low as £2,000. That's our bread and butter, and that's what we're good at. Now, obviously, with selling the lower end of the scale, it does open us up to more risks. That's what we work through on a day-to-day basis, and we're just simply showing you our journey of what it's like to be a car dealer in the UK in the current climate. Now, getting back to our last video, we had a great day. We sold a total of 3 vehicles, just coming off my holiday, which I was really happy with. A really peculiar day in terms of certain events that happened, which I've already explained. If you haven't seen that video, go down onto the channel and have a quick look at it. It's quite an interesting watch, I think. But today, I think we mentioned again in one of the previous videos, we've got quite a lot of prep work to do on some of our vehicles. Just some niggly bits really. Some bits we've got on order, obviously with just being Easter, we're waiting for them to arrive. But there are some vehicles that we're going to start working on today, which I'll show you in a second. So anyway, less waffling. I'm going to spin the camera around, show you exactly what we'll be doing today, and yeah, we'll go from there. And also in this video, we're going to be touching on how have we done since leaving AutoTrader. For those who haven't got us on social media, we did make an announcement about 5 months ago that we was going to leave AutoTrader. We are in a couple of dealer groups on Facebook, and we decided to make the brave move to leave. I know a lot of people have lowered the packages, left, some have stayed, which is understandable. It's a really anxious time to do that, but we thought we'd just take the leap. Now, I'll go through later on the video how that's gone for us. Do we regret it? Are we going to go back to AutoTrader? And also, who are we now advertising our vehicles with? So for those who saw my video previously, if you remember, we had a lovely black Jaguar XF just parked here, sold to a guy called Connor. That's gone for an MOT today. Now, we're going to swap that with this Nissan Pulsar, which we've had in stock for a while. I'm not sure why I did it, but I've just not jumped onto this vehicle, which I should have done straight away. And all this car actually needed was a battery, which it wouldn't needed when it first came in. It's past its MOT, no advisories. So hopefully that makes it a bit more desirable for customers to purchase. I am thinking about putting this vehicle into my name and taking the private plate off the vehicle, because I do think private plates, guys, they are a little bit tatty, especially if it's not the right sort of number plate. And on this one, it's a 2015 model, but it's got 54 on it. You know, does that make people think it's a bit older? I'm not too sure. Now this car, Jesus, did that give me a headache on Monday. So a customer came down, he was a lovely bloke to be fair, came with his wife, purchased it, not a problem, but completely forgot to put his handbrake on the car when he come and parked back up on the pitch. And obviously, as you can see, we go down on a slope, and he went straight into the back of the Renault Clio. Now, in terms of a bit of prep work that we need to do on this one, so the tyres, the treads are at about 3mm, but there is quite a lot of scrubbing, as you can see on the outer and inner edge. So we've agreed with the customer that would go half and half in terms of getting the tyres replaced. Obviously, it is a 1995 car, guys, so what you call a value for money vehicle. So other than that one, on this car, it needs a MOT, so it runs out in about a week's time, or 2 weeks, I think it is. Fresh service, and on these vehicles, we replace all the common faults, so thermostats, for example, water pumps, although this one has already had a brand new time belt and water pump done, so that doesn't need to be done on this one. But that is usually what we do on these Vauxhalls when they come in. Obviously, Vauxhalls are notorious for overheating problems, but it's usually when people aren't changing the relevant parts of the engine, which are to do with your coolant. So we always make sure that's done before they leave. They're also well known for leaking valve cover gaskets, so we usually change them as well, or we inspect them, see if they're leaking. If they are, or if they're showing any signs of misting or anything like that, then we get them changed. Now, this Audi we're going to tackle today. So I think I've explained in the previous video, it's got a misfire on it. We did scan it, cylinder 1 and 2. We've just ordered a full set of spark plugs and coil packs, so I'll get a few clips of me doing that today, and fingers crossed that rectifies that car. Other than that, it's a lovely vehicle. I know Red has mixed reviews. Some people love them, some people hate them. I personally think it's all about the model of the vehicle, and I think Red in this Audi A3 looks fantastic. So we're going to be working on this one today, and hopefully we can get this one resolved. Now, again, in previous videos, we've mentioned about price boards. That is something that we're being really thorough with going forward. So we've got the Suzuki SX4, Kia Soul, and the Vauxhall Astra here as well. And then I believe there's one more, which is this little Fiat 500. So I'm going to get the price boards on these vehicles, and then I think we'll have a full pitch of vehicles with price boards in, which I'll be very happy with. And just like that, the price boards are now done. So I'll get them in the vehicles. Obviously no price in cars. Cars aren't going to sell. I know it's pretty simple to say it, but we haven't been doing it, unfortunately. So you get them in the cars. Again, that will just spruce up the pitch, make it all look complete, and then yeah, we'll go from there. And just like that, they are now done. How much better does that look? Just simple price boards in the windows. So the Kia Soul there, 13250. Suzuki SX4, which is priced at 2495. Whilst we're on this vehicle, we're fitting a new battery to this one today. So that is some more footage that you'll get of me. Again, I should have done it ages ago. I didn't. Things are changing, that is for sure. Vauxhall Astra, 3250. Another price board. And then the last one is this Fiat 500, priced at 3595. Whilst I've got you as well, this one, if you remember on my previous video, I had a big crack going through the windscreen. That's now been done. Brand new windscreen in the vehicle. Obviously it's going to make it more desirable. Can't put the price board in yet. I'm just going to let the windscreen set for a couple of days and then I'll crack on with that. But yeah, that is another vehicle boxed off. So then guys, we've just got the Suzuki SX4 behind me. As I mentioned previously, we're going to do a quick battery change on that. So tools that you'll need a little ratchet with a 10mm socket. That's for the leads on the battery itself. You've got a 13mm socket, which is for a little holding bracket, and then an extension to get you down to it. And also, obviously, the main piece, which is the new battery. So if I show you just what we're doing, this is the old battery. I mean, it looks pretty old to me. It looks like it's been on there for a while, but this car keeps dying. Every time we jump it and run it for a bit, it just dies again. So I think the battery is on its last legs. So you've got your negative terminal there. You've got a 10mm, which just need to take off. And then you've got your positive cable there. Same thing, just a little 10mm. And then down there on these Suzuki SX4s, you can see that there's a little 13mm, which is a little bracket holding the battery down to secure it. So just going to whip all them off and then we'll get the new battery on. So I did notice that the battery that they sent me was wrong, so they've just sent another one out. Old battery's off. Let's get the new one on. So you just want to get the terminals back on. I'll show you that now. So that's the positive one on. Negative on there. You just want to make sure that you're lining the bracket up, which I'll just show you in a second. So this is the bolt for the bracket. Just get that lined up. So just show you quickly. Just down there, you want to make sure that that bracket is going over the battery, because obviously it's holding it in place. Just to show you that. Just get that bracket tightened back up. Right, that's that bracket on. And then just want to tighten the terminals back up, also make sure they don't come off. That's that one done, then last one. And that is a job well done. So bracket's tight there, negative terminal and positive terminal is on. So I'll just put the bonnet down. Also make sure it's running right, and fingers crossed that is now fixed. That is all running properly as it should. That's the old battery. Like I say, it did look a bit old. And it just helps obviously customers when they come, not bloody jumping it, just don't look professional. So yeah, that's a job well done. The other battery they sent me was just completely wrong. I didn't realise, if I was honest. You can see just two totally different batteries. So next job, spark plugs and core packs have arrived for the Audi A3. So we're going to get crack on with that one now. get all my bits and bobs out, and I'll show you how to do that. So just pulled it out, just make it a little bit easier to work on. The spark plugs just sit under these core packs, as you can see. It's concentrating better. So the spark plugs just sit under these core packs here. So we're going to take them out, see what sort of condition there is. Now the vehicle does misfire slightly, it's not doing it at the moment. So hopefully it's just something simple. If that doesn't cure it, then we'll have to do a bit more diagnostic to see what else could be causing that. So I'm going to get the camera set up and we'll crack on. So just to show you guys where we're at, the airbox does have to come off. So there's a clamp just on here and that one. I did use, I think they're called, what the water pump pliers, whatever they're called, to take them off. I know you can get a proper tool for that, but that's all I had at the time. And that just allows me to access these two core packs here as well. Now, looking at them, they do look pretty new, so is that a good sign? I'm not too sure, but I'm going to whip them off. Just to get these off, by the way, there's a little clip here which takes the wire off the plug, and then you've got little 10mm bolts holding the core packs down, and then just a little tug and they will pull out.
I know that sounded like a joke, but that is a great idea.
So that was just not an easy job at all. I thought it was going to be a bit more simple than that. Don't usually have an issue changing spark plugs and coil packs, but on this engine, the core packs can suction quite hard onto the spark plug, and that was the case on cylinder 3. So I'll show you what I had to do to get it out. That is the end of the coil plug. And we've got the head there, so we tried to pull it out and it just pulled straight off. So we just had to use a bit of brute force in the end to sort that. Now, the new one is just here. So I've gone for a Bosch one, guys. I know there's cheaper brands, but I think with core packs, try and get a bit more of an expensive one, and then obviously it's just a little bit more reliable. So I'm going to get this all put back on. Hopefully everything else goes a bit more smooth, and then we'll start her up and see if we fixed it. So this is the new spark plug. If I'm honest with you, the ones that have been taken out do look like they've been changed recently. So I'm going to put one in anyway, just for good practice. All the rest have been done. Like I said, it was just cylinder number 3, not playing nice at all. So get that straight into there. Get it hand tight and get your ratchet on the end. They don't need doing too tight, these guys, at all. So just be careful when you're doing them. I know some people will use a torque wrench to do it. I don't. I know that might be a bit naughty, but I just do it off a feel. So that spark plug is now in. I'll just show you that. So you look down there, don't know if it's focusing. Spark plug's now in, and then get your new coil pack and it will just simply slot into place, which it has done. You want to get your screw which goes through the coil and bolts it to the head. So we'll just get that in, and then simply get the plug and plug back on. So you see there, cylinder number 3 all sorted. So I've got to get the airbox put back on, tighten all that down, and then we can start it up, and fingers crossed, guys, that's sorted the problem. Just need to plug this one on before I miss it. Okay, let's crack on. So just get that breather hose back onto that box. Just like that. And then there's some rubber grommets to get this box back on. That's the first one. That's the second one. And then just make sure your clamp is tight, guys, when you take the top one off here. And then we've got the bottom one as well. Airbox is on. Little breather hose back on. Bottom clamp that we took off is on. And also the top one there as well. So we're going to start it up, and fingers crossed it sorts it out. So that is now started up. There's no misfiring, which is fantastic. Sounds a lot better. And the most important thing, which I'll just show you now, the engine light has come off by itself, which is fantastic. So that is a job well done, guys. I was getting a little bit concerned, obviously with German stock engine lights, they can get expensive fast, but it seems that a simple coil pack and spark plug has sorted it. So I'm gonna get this one parked back on the pitch, and then I'm gonna have a sit down with you guys, have a talk to you about how we found leaving AutoTrader, tell you all the insights, which I'm sure you will enjoy hearing, especially with dealers. If you ever want any advice or anything like that, just get in touch. I'm more than happy to walk you through how I've done things from my side. But yeah, we'll have a sit down and we'll have a chat. So that's what I call a nice productive day. I've really enjoyed today actually. Managed to get a couple of bits boxed off, the biggest one being the Audi A3. I've got a nice profit margin over that car, so definitely a priority one. And it's a nice car, so we want that to be right. We have had a walk-in on it today as well, so they're coming back tomorrow. I obviously explained to him, let me get the core packs done first and the spark plugs, and then you can go on a proper test drive. So that's a job well done. There were then the Suzuki SX4 with the battery, so I managed to get all that fit, cars running every time on the button. So fantastic with that one as well. There's a couple of cars that I'll address tomorrow, but that'll be on a later video. So moving on from that, let's get on to AutoTrader. So for those who don't know, I announced on our social medias that we was going to leave AutoTrader. I think it was about 5 or 6 months ago, could be a little bit less, I'm not too sure. But I was thinking about leaving them for about a year, maybe even slightly longer. And I handed my notice into them about 4 or 5 times, but each time they convinced me to stay. They really do get into your head, if I'm honest with you. You know, they let you know they're the kingpin. If you use other trading platforms and all this sort of stuff, you're not going to have any luck with them. So I always stuck with AutoTrader. I'm new in the trade, so I sort of stuck to what I know and took their advice, if that makes sense. So on AutoTrader, that cost me about 4.5 grand a month. So that's every single month to advertise 20 cars. And with that, I got, obviously, my cars advertised. You get all the analytics of AutoTrader. Now, if there's one thing I'll say, the analytics of AutoTrader are very good. And I'm a data-driven person. That's how I am. So I really enjoyed seeing the retail rating of cars, obviously what you should be valuing them at. You get the HPI reports, all this sort of stuff. And if there was one thing I could take from AutoTrader, it would definitely be that. Advertising through AutoTrader and my own website and through other social media channels, I was selling between 15 to 20 cars a month, sometimes even less, if I'm honest with you. I think there was a month where I did 11 cars. So when you break down paying 4.5 grand a month for that, I won't say that's very good value for money. And I very quickly found that my profit was getting eaten into. In fact, AutoTrader was getting paid more than what I was getting paid. So that just didn't feel right to me, and I knew, I had to make a change. And then AutoTrader made their announcement with a new Reserve Now button and all that sort of stuff. And that was our final decision to cancel our AutoTrader package. There was nothing they could tell me at that point. So I rang them up, said, look, we're cancelling the package. That'll be the last time that we use you guys. And that was that. Now, I remember when I came off the phone, I had a really daunting feeling. I was like, oh, I think I've made a mistake. But I stuck to my guns. Obviously, you got that 4-week window then to cancel your package, which they keep ringing you, trying to convince you to stay. And I remember on the last week, I was actually going to stay with them. So I gave them a call, sort of went through a package again, and then last minute, I thought, no, I'm going to stick to my guns, I'm done. So then I was looking at other platforms to advertise a car. So there's Car Gurus and Motors.co.uk. I know there's a few other places, but they were the two main ones that I was looking at. We decided in the end to go with Motors. Now, I've heard mixed success on this. Some traders have said to me they have no luck at all on it. Others say that they do all right. So we thought we'd give it a go. Now, the good thing with Motors is that they are very cheap in regards to their packages. So with them, we've got a 60 car package and we pay £1,800 a month. You're on a 4-month set package. That's the one that we went for. And we got the first 2 months for free, which is always a nice incentive. And when I was speaking to them on the phone, they just gave me a much better feeling. It felt like I was actually talking to a person rather than someone who's got a script that they go off and all that sort of stuff. They walked me through the package nice and easy. We signed up, we was live, I think it was 48 hours after. And then from there, it was just a waiting game to see how our cars reacted on Motors. Now, in the past 3 months alone, we've sold 130 cars. So with Motors, we have had no change, no negative change anyway. In fact, it's helped our business get even higher than what it was previously using AutoTrader, because the money that we're saving in terms of advertising, that's going into our pocket or onto stock, or say if there's like a warranty pot that we need or anything like that, it definitely has helped cover more costs with the business. Now, I am someone who is very conscious of costs, so if I feel like things are getting a bit out of control in terms of monthly outgoings, I will always look at lowering stuff. That's just how I am. But with this one, there was no negative effect at all. Now, I'm not saying that it'd be the same for all dealers, so this isn't any advice or anything like that. But my way of thinking is, what is the worst that can happen? You can always go back to AutoTrader if it doesn't work, and if you don't try something new, then you never know. And since I've tried it, my business has grown 3 times what it would have with AutoTrader for a fraction of the cost. Now, the other thing that we did, on our website, we decided to have that all restructured. So we brought in AI-driven things, we did reserve now, and that has definitely helped us as well. We don't get as much traffic through our website, if I'm honest with you. I know some businesses are pretty good on their websites, they put a lot of investment into it. We don't really have that sort of money to be playing about with stuff like that, so we've made it as good as we can with the budget that we've got. And then other platforms that I use, just simple things like Facebook, Instagram. I used to do a bit of TikTok, even though I haven't done that lately. But Facebook and Instagram I have a lot of success of. And that really opened my eyes that I can do this without AutoTrader. I remember feeling that massive sense of relief, like I'd got out the chains of AutoTrader, because it's such a toxic environment. I mean, I am in a dealer group on Facebook and you read a lot on there and we're all saying the same thing, but we've got to react to it. You know, I know some people have lowered their packages and cancelled, but a lot of people have stayed due to fear, fear that it's not going to work if they leave. But like I said before, if you never try, you'll never know, and you can always go back to AutoTrader. In fact, I had a call from AutoTrader today, about an hour ago, and it was a bloke on the phone saying they've got this new offer out. They'll give me, I think it was 2 months free, and then 2 months at 50% or something like that. I can't remember. But I said, no, not happening under any circumstance. The only thing with motors that I would say is bad is their analytics side. Their portal is a bit dated. Okay, so it's not as smooth as what AutoTrader is. And it takes a lot longer to advertise cars as well, which I've noticed. But for the extra 30 minutes it might take you to advertise a few more cars, for the cost saving, and also in our case, increasing our business, I've got no complaints. Coming back off my holiday, with Motors directly, I had 14 inquiries. A lot of them were serious. We had maybe 3 or 4 that weren't, because that was the other thing with AutoTrader. We was getting inquiries through, not a lot at all, but we was getting inquiries, but it'd be like a name with no contact number on it, for example, or some with no contact number or email address, or just a first name, or a ridiculous request like, would you accept £2,000 less on your car? AutoTrader have got to be better at this, and in my opinion, I think some of the leads that they were sending through to us were dud leads. We'd get back to the email, we'd ring the customers, they'd never answer. So just as a rough guide, with AutoTrader I was spending around 50 grand a year on advertising. With Motors it's about 20 grand a year. So there's a 30 grand a year saving. That is massive, guys. In the motor trade, margins are everything. And that's not in terms of just selling your cars, that is on your costs as well. Because in this trade, it is very hard to make money. I know you can make money, and we do make money here, but it is difficult. And the biggest thing I think is your costs getting out of control. So 100% no regrets from me from AutoTrader. So if anyone wants any advice, if you want any information from us in terms of how Motors works, or how do we do our Facebook advertising, just get in touch. At Dale's Traders, we are all in one pot. I know we're all competitors to each other, but I do believe in helping people out. So if anyone wants to get in touch, please feel free to. But that's just a quick video for today. Like I say, been a very successful day, got lots boxed off, and we're working through these cars one at a time. I'll see you with us on this journey. If you can, like, subscribe, share, comment, we'd really appreciate it, guys. And we'll catch you for the next one. Take care.